Welcome to the next edition of the JMM Expert Insights Series. Today we are joined by Brett Mitchell, Executive Chairman of Uvre Limited. Brett, great to have you here.
Thanks, Jane. It's great to be here, and really pleased to have the opportunity to talk about Uvre's new acquisitions of the OceanaGold gold projects in New Zealand.
Well, actually, just on that then. So you have made headlines recently with your entry into New Zealand's gold space. So give us a little bit of an overview of the actual project and your company's new direction.
Yeah, Jane, Uvre was listed on the ASX about 3 years ago on a US uranium project, which we spent some fair bit of time and money on the first couple of years on working that project up. But due to sentiment and the ongoing expenditure requirements in US dollars, we decided to change focus, and I took on the role at Uvre of executive chairman 12 months ago to look for a new project opportunity and team that we could back, because we were a spin out of Delta Lithium. We had some very good shareholders. We had about $3 million cash in the bank, and we wanted to find some new projects, ideally in the gold space, and we were looking in Australia, but then through some connections through Bell Potter, we were introduced to Norm Seckold, and his group had put this pretty impressive package of New Zealand gold exploration assets led by the Waitekauri project, which is a brownfields asset in New Zealand, together. And we've just concluded that transaction, raised $4 million, and we're well funded to start drilling the main project of Waitekauri in September.
Well, actually, just on that Waitekauri project, there are some impressive findings that you've already released. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, we've recently released initial rock chip samples from two projects, Waitekauri, which is our lead project, which is a brownfields gold project in the North Island. We got rock chips of up to 18 grams, which was really impressive. Now, the location of Waitekauri, it's in a belt that hosts four multi-million ounce deposits. Our tenement boundary is less than a kilometre from the Waihi gold mine, which is probably the most famous gold mine in New Zealand, which has produced about 10 million ounces. They're epithermal deposits. They're very high grade. And just north of our project at Waitekauri, which we've had, there's historical operations on the Waitekauri tenement. It's produced about 30,000 ounces at 48 grams historically. And another one of OceanaGold's projects, in addition to Waihi, is the WKP project, which sits about 7 kilometres to the north of our project. And they've got a 2 million ounce deposit there. They're running about 14 grams, and they've just announced some really good step out exploration results that head from that existing resource towards our project. So, yeah, we're pretty excited about it.
So Waitekauri is surrounded by proven gold systems. Can you describe that exploration potential there?
Yes, it's quite significant. There's more exploration going on around us currently, which gives us even more confidence there's more gold to be found. For example, just to 7 kilometres to the north of us is the OceanaGold's WKP deposit. This is very well known by a number of existing and new Uvre shareholders. This deposit's 2.2 million ounces. It'll be an underground development. It's running at about 14 grams, but they've just announced some new exploration results. These are step out exploration holes heading southwest from the existing deposit directly towards our tenement, and along strike on the mineralised system that we know carries the gold from their project into ours. And some of their intercepts that they've only released a week or two ago, which are not part of that resource, 4 metres at 43 grams, 8 metres at 12 grams, 5 metres at 14 grams, which, in Australia, those sort of grades are unheard of, but that just goes to show the potential here and epithermal systems. When you do get onto them, you don't need a large resource to have a very economic and highly profitable gold resource.
those assay results sound phenomenal. Tell us, so what's next from an exploration standpoint? You've got those results. Is it drilling? What's the next steps?
Yep. So our next step, so the two sets of rock chips we've got so far, one at Waitekauri, as I've mentioned, the other one's at Otarahua, and Otarahua is in the South Island, where we've got three other more early stage, but exploration projects. Our initial focus is drilling at Waitekauri. It's our most advanced project. It's surrounded by multi-million ounce deposits, and there's the historical production on the project, as I've mentioned. We expect to be drilling there by the end of September this year. So we've completed our capital raising. We just completed the board changes this week. All the corporate side of the transaction's finished. We're now into the final stages of permitting, and we're in negotiations with rig contractors, and we expect to be drilling in September, our main project at Waitekauri.
Well, let's actually just jump to that. So, speaking of your incoming directors, you've got Norm Seckold, who you mentioned. You've also got Peter Nightingale, big
Hmm.
names in the sector. So, what do their appointments mean for the company?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really exciting. I mean, I've heard of Norm by name. Being myself involved in the mining industry in Australia for over 20 years. I've never met Norm until through this transaction, and he's got an amazing track record of finding and building real businesses and real mines. He's currently Bolsini was one of the first big ones that he did, but it's, more recently nickel mines, and sorry, more recent nickel industries and Alpha HPA. He's still the executive chairman on those two businesses, which are $2.5 billion market cap. So to be working with a guy like that is fantastic. It lends a lot of credibility to what we're doing and how we're going to do it, because Norm's been there and done it before, and Peter Nightingale is part of his team. So having them on the board is a great endorsement of what we're doing, and what we're doing together, and the quality of the team that we've built collectively now. But also Norm was, yeah, which is sort of why we were so interested in this opportunity in New Zealand with the AutoGold assets that he and the geologist founders, Jason Beckton and Peter Zittner, had put together. But Norm was the founding chairman and an original shareholder of Santana, and Santana is very well known as probably the most recognised New Zealand gold developer on the ASX, plus 400 million market cap, and that started where Uvre is today. After their first raising, they were capped at about $20 million, and so Norm's been there, done it in New Zealand before in the gold space, and we're seeing this as Santana 2.0.
And Brett, look, I'm jumping around a little bit here. You've spoken about obviously your flagship project. Let's talk about the Southern Island projects now.
Yeah, so we've the AutoGold team put together three projects in the South Island currently. One's called Otarahua. We've also got Roaring Meg, and then an exploration license which is under application at Invincible, which is an old gold mine. Now, the interesting thing, again, a bit like Waitekauri in the North Island, these three projects are a proven gold geology and system of mineralisation. This is the Otarahua project is only about 20 kilometres from Santana's Rise and Shine project, and about 50 kilometres from Macraes. So we're again, it's there's they're still relatively early stage. They're not brownfields projects, but they're in the right geology in the right location. And these opportunities have just come up because for 10 years New Zealand has been really uninvestable almost from a mining perspective because of the government policies there in terms of the environmental policies, the red tape, the green tape, through the era of the Ahern government in New Zealand. Now that's all been reversed by the new Conservative government in New Zealand, which is sort of a key part of what strategically and corporately drew us to the whole opportunity here to undertake the acquisition of the AutoGold projects and team up with Norm Seckold on this opportunity, and that's why there's the projects like Otarahua and Invincible were available for these guys to pick up 2 or 3 years ago because of there's been such a lack of investment and mining exploration in New Zealand over the last decade. But that's now all changed, which we're happy to get at at the front end of and be part of the new or development of the new industry over there.
Look, I think with your new board and of course the in-country experience, it's great to see you actually in there now. So you've raised $4 million, even the equity raise. You're positioned now to go to the next phase. What should investors be looking out for from a news flow perspective?
Yeah, that's right, Jane. So we raised $4 million, and Uvre we had over $2 million in the bank pre the transaction. So we're really well funded. We have approximately $6 million in the bank. We got no debt. We've got a really lean sort of lean team, and so we're going to be looking forward to sort of spending the majority of that money putting holes in the ground over the next 12 to 24 months, starting with Waitekauri. And what investors should be looking for, it's initially the start of our drilling program in September at Waitekauri, which is, as I've sort of outlined before, we're in a really, really amazing neighbourhood for gold production and gold enriched mineralised systems. And then in the South Island, we will be planning on drilling at Otarahua in the first quarter of 26. And Invincible is a really interesting project. We expect to have that license granted in the next month or so, and hopefully we've got some initial results to come out on that soon after grant with some rock chips and into some more into developing a drilling program for Invincible as well.
Brett, I'm just going to dig a little deeper here. Tell us a little bit more about that September program and what are you actually chasing there?
Yeah, at Waitekauri, we got three high priority targets from historical mines on the property at Scotia, Sovereign, and Jubilee. Now, these are sitting on a known mineralised trend, which runs from the OceanaGold's WKP deposit, which is 2 million ounces at 14 grams, only 7 kilometres to the north, and it runs in a northeast southwest direction through our property. So we know that there's four multi-million ounce deposits that sit on that structure and that trend. We're hitting this with an initial 3,000 metre diamond program, and we're going to be targeting initially Jubilee is going to be the focus of that drilling. There's some historical work done by Laneway that we're going to be following up, but we believe, and there was about $5 million of exploration expenditure on this project historically. So we've got the benefit of that data. We're going to be chasing these extensions of these known mineralized systems where they mined at Jubilee. It was about 29,000 ounces historically at about 50 grams. So we're targeting the extensions of those mineralized systems at depth, with this diamond program start of about 3,000 meters.
Well, Brett, you're surrounded by proven gold systems with those historical results. It'd be silly not to chase those targets. Looks like an exciting campaign.
It is, it's this is up in the north, and the mineralized system up here, it's epithermal gold, so it's very high grade, so you don't need to find a lot of it. From the laneway drilling, there's one of the historical intercepts hit, over 500 grams, in a historical intercept of about half a meter. So, it's amazingly richly endowed gold systems. We're sitting in the mineralized trend, and we've got historical production to confirm that the mineralization exists. So it hasn't been drilled for a long time, and we're looking forward to getting into it.
Brett, I know you've just touched on a lot of that now, but what should investors be looking forward to over the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, so starting with Waitekauri, our drilling program is going to go for about 6 or 8 weeks. So we're going to have the results from that program, and then follow up in Otarahua in the South Island. We're going to have more initial drill targeting, moving into a drilling program there, which we're hoping to start by the end of December 25, January 26.
Well, Brett, exciting times for the company. It looks like you've got a lot of news flow coming through, so we look forward to future updates.
Yeah, great. Thanks for your time, Jane. Appreciate it, and yeah, excited about the starting the new journey and getting underway in September at Waitekauri.